Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday, which means it's time for my Survivor recaps. So, yeah, I definitely love Survivor tonight. I mean, I always love Survivor, but there was two tribal councils tonight, so I was a bit confused whether it was going to be a 2-hour episode or just a regular one. It was an hour, but they had two tribal councils. So, to recap on tonight's episode, they come back after voting Zeke off. I was disappointed because he was one of my guys to win. But Will thinks he's in a pretty good place because he flipped over to the other alliance to vote Zeke off. So now the alliance thinks they have Will, but then Will made a comment in his confessional saying that, oh, I could just flip flop to any alliance I want now. I'm like, really? I mean, I can understand why Will would want to make big moves because you definitely don't want to go to the end as a goat. You definitely don't want to be known on Survivor as a goat. I mean, sometimes goats have a way of winning. I mean, look at Michelle from last season. She was a goat and she ended up winning. So I understand where Will's coming from, but at the same time, being a flip flopper makes you a big threat. Um, Brett is really disappointed that the votes at Tribal Council are not going his way. So him and Sunday are definitely trying to figure out where they can go from here. They're definitely the whole tribe knows that Jay's a threat because he's won multiple immunity challenges, and they also see David as a threat. So they definitely think that with David's underdog story and how far he's come in the game, that they definitely don't want to sit next to David at the end. So there was no reward challenges tonight. It went right to immunity challenge, and this immunity challenge was about balance, but in a different way. They had to kind of go through these obstacles with these like tokens, and they had to go on a balance beam, but they had to carry so high, like if they fell or they dropped the tokens, they had to go back to the start, and they had to navigate through that, and then they had to see how many tokens they can go through this wire without knocking them over, and then they had to throw the tokens in, all their tokens in, to try to make it 10. And it really came down to Jay, David, Ken, and Brett. But in the end, it ended up Jay who won the first immunity challenge of the night. So that puts a damper on their plans for Tribal Council because Adam is very anxious to write Jay's name down, but now they're trying to figure out where do they go from here because, he won immunity. So half of them really want to get David out for the reasons I said before, but now there's talk about getting Will off because he's all about trying to build up this resume. And actually, I think it was Adam who brought up that Will should go because he's all, like I said, trying to build up his resume, and he could flip flop back and forth to everyone. And they want to get Jay's last alliance member off, and the same thing is kind of said at Tribal when they went to Tribal, that you want to have a good resume at the end. You want to be able to say to the jury, I made this many moves, and you don't want to be known as a goat or a flip flopper or a villain because the jury may not respect you for that. And it ended up being Will being sent home, and I definitely think they made the right decision because he was getting a little bit too high and mighty for his game. So Jay's in a really bad position because he lost all of his alliance members. They're all currently sitting on the jury, so now he's kind of like a free agent. He called himself the underdog, and I wouldn't call Jay an underdog. He is definitely a huge threat in this game. I mean, I look at Jay as like Ozzy, Malcolm, and Joe. Like, Jay will definitely be back again. They've had those 3-odd multiple times, like in an effort to get them to finally win. So Jay will definitely be back. I look at more of underdogs as Adam, Hannah, David, I even thought Zeke was an underdog before he got voted off. But now Jay's trying to figure out where are the cracks in the alliances, like who could I align with? And Hannah is really anxious to um, get Sunday to go home. Like, she definitely does not want to go with the plan. Like, she's kind of been wishy-washy when it comes to voting out other people. But at the next immunity challenge, I definitely liked the immunity challenge. It was a simple puzzle they had to work on. It was the logo for the season, but there was a twist. It was kind of like a pinball. Like, they had to roll the ball up, and as long as the ball was still going and hitting the pegs, they could work on their puzzle. But if it goes down or it drops, they have to stop working on it and move the ball back up. And if the ball drops, it goes down it goes down this ramp, and they have to wait until the ball finishes rolling down the ramp to start their puzzle again. So that can cost someone a lot of time, especially if they're in the lead. And in the immunity challenge, it came down to Ken, David, and Jay, and it ended up being Ken who won immunity, and I believe it was his first immunity for this season, so congratulations, Ken. And Ken's actually in an interesting position because Jessica wielded him that legacy advantage. I'm still curious to see what the hell the legacy advantage is. What would be interesting is that it could be an immunity. It could be maybe he gets to decide who goes home, and then, or he get yeah, like if his name is on the chopping block, he can choose to have somebody else's name go in his place, or maybe he could have someone from the jury go back. That'd be an interesting challenge, or maybe he could just simply steal a vote. But Hannah is definitely doesn't want to vote David because she feels that David went to rocks for her, so she feels like she owes him one. So she really wants to break up the Brett and Sunday alliance, and I kind of agree with that because they've kind of been a power couple in their own right. So she's trying to push to get Sunday to go home. And David and Ken were talking about having Brett go home. I'm like, why are you not trying to flesh out Jay's idol? I mean, even if he plays it, he can't use it next time. And Adam is wanting to write Jay's now. Wanting to write Jay's name down, of course, but Jay and Adam, what Jay describes, they've had a yin-yang relationship the whole time. They love each other, but they hate each other. They both are very passionate about their game, and they definitely want to go far, and they actually did have a moment where they shared some very personal information, where Adam shared that his mom has stage 4 lung cancer, and you could see Jay's visibly upset over that, and Jay reveals that his mom's also had like brain aneurysms and has overcome health problems too. So they have some common ground there, and I think I don't want Jay to go to the end. I don't want him to win, but it definitely shows a lot. It definitely shows a lot about Jay's character. The fact that he didn't go and tell everyone about Adam's story, because sometimes, like, when people hear those kind of stories, they that's their cue, like, that I don't want to take that person to the end. So it definitely shows a lot about Jay's character that he kept that information private when he could have just revealed it. At the same time, Adam is telling Jay that he needs to play his idol tonight, and Jay's wondering, like, should I play the idol or should I not? And Adam's alliance thought process is that they don't want to miss this opportunity. They definitely don't want to not vote. They definitely don't want to have Jay, if he makes it past this vote, to have an idol in his pocket next time. So our tribal council, they're talking about it's getting to the point in the game where they're thinking who they'd want to take to the end, who they want to sit with, and what the jury will be looking for. And in the end, they ended up voting Sunday off, and Sunday, I don't think, I think in a way she was good to take to the end because she was a goat, but then at the same time, I kind of see Sunday's point that, that she can maybe have some wiggle room there, and she could kind of persuade the jury to vote for her. And Hannah actually made some good points, saying that she doesn't want votes going towards Sunday at the end, or Sunday having a spot at the final three, versus when she hasn't really played the game, versus somebody who's worked their ass off the whole time and they don't have a shot to be there. So I'm definitely excited for the season finale next week. I definitely can't believe it's here already. This season went by so fast. I am so glad that Adam is still in this. I'm hoping, Adam, that you can pull this off and win it. I'm still happy Hannah's in this. I'm also kind of rooting for David. I think he also has a great underdog story. I definitely feel like if Adam tells his story about his mom at Final Tribal Council, I definitely think he has a very good chance at winning. But also the moves he's made as well. I'm definitely excited for next season. It's rumored to be Survivor Game Changers, and it's all returning players, so everybody always loves that. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Survivor. If you want to catch Survivor, it is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS. I hope you guys enjoyed my Survivor recap, and until next time, stay regal.